What's the haps, YouTube? It's your boy John and your boy Jimbo.
Hey, hey.
We're here today to do another episode of Straight to the Point.
Yeah, I want to apologize for the we recorded one about I guess 2 weeks ago. Didn't get it out because for obvious reasons, work and school, and do want to apologize for that episode. We might have to redo that episode again soon. So yeah, we recorded an episode 2 weeks ago, and it didn't get published out, or it didn't get edited and published out on time. So I just want to apologize for that. And this is officially our third episode, quote unquote, but this will be our second, if that makes sense to you guys. So I do want to apologize.
Yeah, we're trying our best to send out episodes, so please bear with us. But today we want to talk about a very broad subject. Today's topic is life, and we want to just hit on 3 points, and we want to get straight to it, just like our namesake. And so the first one we want to talk about is school. So Jimbo, you're on your journey of schooling right now. Why don't you give us a little piece of what it's like?
It's hard, especially when I'm in my 30s. You guys can figure out what the exact age that I am. But going to school in the 30s and actually working a bit over 40 hours a week, it's tough. And but I made a promise to myself that I would get it done in my 20s, which that promise has sailed a long time ago. But now I'm actually doing online courses with BYU Pathways. For those who don't know what BYU is Brigham Young University, which our church owns the school and runs the school, and that's what I'm doing right now, taking online courses through BYU Pathways. And of course, they have 4 campuses. Correct me if I'm wrong, John. Of course, there's BYU in Provo, of course, BYU Idaho, and Hawaii, and then of course, what used to be called the LDS Business College, now it's Ensign
College.
That's in the Salt Lake. So those are and then of course BYU Pathways, which is the 4 or 5 options that we have, and to go to get a higher education within the realm of our church. That hopefully I'm not boring you guys to death about this, but I just started back up this past spring, where in the pathway program, and I thought because I did the pathway program before, but I had some health issues, and then getting distracted, with things that are around me, and then of course, with my health, I had to drop out because it was there was no point of me of doing it and not worrying about my health for obvious reasons, which I'm not going to go into. And again, with the distractions and stuff, just like when I was going to the local community college here in Richmond, San Pablo area. For those who might know where I'm going with this is Contra Costa College, where there's a huge distraction. People that I know graduated from De Anza, Pinole Valley, etc., 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 are there with distractions. But most important thing that I'm doing this time is to stay focused, as we are as you should when you're when you're learning and getting your education, to stay focused on the task at hand. And it's, like I said in the beginning, it's tough, because I'm also working 40 hours a week and attending a gathering once a week on Thursday while at work. It's tough, but I managed to get through it. And the person that I'm working with, all you guys know, most of you guys know that I'm working as a caregiver, also known as a respite worker with the disabled adults from 18 to whatever, through an agency. And you know and you know attending the gathering while at work, you know it's tough, but it's rewarding at the same time.
And when Jimbo says our church, he's talking about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Day Saints. And but to stay on topic, when I was going to school, I haven't graduated yet. I'm going back to school this upcoming spring, and the way that the school that I'm going to, Brigham Young in Idaho, works is that there's 3 different tracks, and so it's a different system than the usual university. But I like the system that they have. It works for me, and it helps me to understand better the subjects that are being taught. For one, I was in a math uh, to teach children class, and it was a lot of fun because we got to learn the different ways that kids can think and the different ways that teachers should be teaching instead of just the one direct way. There's multiple ways to teach children. There's not just one similar or one direct, like I was saying, but there's so many ways that the brain works and how people see life. So it's hard to try and just teach one way when you can teach it multiple ways so that different kids can learn it different ways. So school can be a lot of fun for people. School can be difficult, like Jimbo was saying. I know for me, school was a lot of fun just because you get to interact better with your classmates. You're not just sitting in a classroom and just listening to your professor all the time. It's very interactive with the professor. He knows some of you by name and probably knows most of us, to be honest. Unless it's a humongous class, then it's hard. But that, like, school should be fun, and learning is a fun opportunity for us to grow and to become better people in this life. And once we accomplish our school goals and are able to get that degree, whatever degree that you're aiming for, that's going to affect your work and your career life. And so now we're going to go into jobs, and I'll start off. Living here in Utah, it's been fun finding different jobs and just the different opportunities that God gives us. Um, and some of our viewers might not be religious, but I know that for me, it's easier for me to find jobs when I put my faith in God and Jesus Christ to help me throughout this process. I've as I've been growing up, it's never been about myself. I've always tried to focus on the people around me. And as a Polynesian, that's what you have to do. You have to sacrifice yourself for your family so that your family can live and prosper. That's what I did a lot once I graduated high school and finished with my full-time mission as for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I would go to school, and then once I got home, I'd I'd work that whole year, and then go to school for 3 months, and then the rest of the year just go to work. And it all depends on your life situations. I know that it was a great opportunity to learn if I was going to be a educational provider, whether it's going to be a principal or a teacher. But this past year, working at a elementary school again, it's been weird because I've always loved interacting with kids and giving kids hope. But then the aspect of interacting with other adults, it's good. It's good to be able to be around people your age. But for me, my goal was to help the future generations, and that's still my goal. And now I'm going to find a way to build a school once I get my education done. There's steps into life, and school definitely is going to help before you get into your big career. But then there's times where you have to get work so that you can provide for your family.
Yeah, I agree. And with me, I didn't have the experience working as well as I started working after a year I got back from my mission. Um, I didn't work before I served my mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Day Saints. I was just dependent on just focusing on going to school, and again, just like I said earlier, there was many distractions from from all over the place, and with me, I started working in 2012, and as a busboy, which I really didn't like because it got me doing some unusual things and I work at a restaurant that has been uh, I don't even know what happened to the restaurant, but they're closed or under new ownership. Um, but um, and then and and then now I'm a respite worker for almost what 9.5 going on 10 years, and of course I did um a little not a side job but like a little just I worked as a security guard up at up at the Oakland Temple. For those who don't know what the Oakland Temple it's also part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Day Saints, where I worked as a security guard for the grounds for 6 months, which it was nice and all, but I didn't really get along with one person, so I just decided for the best for me and also for the folks that I was working with at the temple grounds just to resign, and which I did, and I'm back to doing this, working as a caregiver uh, for going on 10 close to 10 years. And don't get me wrong, I love being talking to people as a security guard and getting to know the people that goes on to the grounds, to the temple grounds. But again, due to the unfortunate circumstances, had to resign, and which is good, but in order for us to gain to get a better job is going back to what we were talking about in the beginning, to get a better education and to better our skills in the things that we want to do.
And all these go hand in hand with each other. And this last topic that we want to bring up is dating slash marriage. And I'm new to marriage. I've been married to my lovely wife for the past 7.5 months, going on 8 in November, and it's a lot of fun. You know, there's trials, of course. Like right now, we're trying to find a new place in Rexburg, Idaho, and we're trying to transfer to the school up there again. Just because we just feel that it's best for us to move now so that we can be closer to her mom's family and be able to enjoy education life together, just because she's been the only one going to school and work right now, since I've struck out on jobs. I've got hired a couple of times, but it just was never feeling right. And for those out there, if you feel like you don't want a certain job, don't apply to it. To be honest, just to save yourself the hassle. Because I know for me, it was a lot of the times it was for the money and just so that I can be a good provider. But if you're not liking your job, you're suffering. So don't ever do that to yourself. But marriage, if there's one thing that I give an advice about marriage or dating, even though they're two different things, but it's surrounding the idea of love, is that you gotta forget yourself. You know how I was talking about going to school and having to come home. It's come going home and then trying to provide for my immediate family, for my parents, my siblings. It's that same idea. You have to sacrifice yourself, because once you start having this mindset that, man, she's doing this and that, and you think that she's doing a lot better than you, at the same time, your partner, your significant other might be struggling as well. And so you have to learn how to love the other person, whether that's giving up your time for them, whether that's doing something that you're uncomfortable doing, but you're going to do it anyways, because you love that person. And so whoever's watching this, I just want you to know that love is for everyone. Whether it's the form of a friendship or a relationship or marriage, just know that you're loved, whether it's from Jimbo, whether it's from me, whether it's from whatever God that you believe in, whether it's Jesus Christ. Just know that you're loved in every way possible, just because there's someone out there that loves you. And that's what dating and marriage is. It's all about love and sacrifice.
So, how did you meet?
So I met my wife on a dating app. The members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I guess one of them made a dating app called Mutual, and Hallie was in town in Rexburg, because that's where I was at the time. I was going to school in the fall of 2020. Wow, that's crazy. That was last year. Around this time, I'd probably be at school. Yeah, that's weird to think right now.
It sounds like 4 years ago.
Seriously. But it was only just last year. But so it was around Thanksgiving time, which is coming up. That's when we matched, and I talked to her for a little bit. I guess there wasn't, well, I shouldn't say there wasn't much there, but there was other women that I could interact with face to face. So I decided to put Hallie on the back burner for a little bit. So yes, I ghosted my wife for a month, and then around the end of December, I just messaged her again, just reached out to her, and then towards January we had our first online date, and that date lasted 14 hours, 13 to 14 hours. And I was late to church online that morning. Jimbo probably remembers this.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was funny. But so after that, we ended up talking again, and I'm pretty sure it was the Tuesday when I told Hallie that I loved her. But the way I told her is that I loved her in a godly way, because we're both members of the church, and so I didn't want to straight up say, "Oh, I love you." So I went around, I beat the bush and said I loved you in a godly way, and she laughed and she ended up saying I love you too. So, but the best part about it is that the week after all this talking and everything, we always like would FaceTime online through Facebook Messenger, and so yeah, the week the week following, so this is like the first week of January, and then the second week of January, she proposed to me online. And the way she proposed is that she said, "You want to get married?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so at the end of the month, I ended up meeting her in person, and we we just fell in love in person even more. And I took her home the beginning of February, I think, or no, it's still the end of January, and that's when Jimbo was able to meet her in person.
Yeah, and then also April too. I believe.
Yeah.
Buddy April,
Yep. Shout outs to April.
missed that dude.
Nyanga. If you see April, tell him what's up. But yeah, both Jimbo and April and my immediate family were able to meet her, and we ended up I ended up moving to Utah during the end of January as well. So here we are, married in March, and now 7 months later, we're still at it, still loving each other.
For time and all eternity.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and with me, I've been I dated outside of our church, where I met some very nice and good people. Um, in high school, I met this wonderful, wonderful lady, she young woman at the time, which is about the same age as me. Um, we dated for a month, and then I just like John, I told her that I loved her, and then and she said the same thing, and but right when I needed her the most, she decided to call it quits, which I don't blame her. She didn't really give me a specific reason why she wanted to call it off, but but at the same time, I totally understand where she's coming from. At the time, I didn't know, but all these years later, I kind of it just clicked why she wanted to call it off. Which I'm not gonna go into details about why. Not why, but the, just not, I'm not even going to details due to the time that we have, and then yeah, it's just kind of made me upset, but that's the dating scene, But and again, I dated somebody that's 3 years younger than me, and I okay. Thank you, John. No, but very quickly, and you know, relate. Just to cut it short, not going into just sharing a brief moment of my dating scene, my dating experience, quote unquote. But like I tell most of my friends, that dating or being in a relationship is a two-way streak, and you got to listen to one another, and that's the key. That's important, to listen to one another, and to listen. The key word is listen to the significant other, and to compromise on the things that your partner wants to do, or vice versa. And we'll end it on that. And we thank you guys for watching and listening, about our life experience. And if you guys want to know more about my dating scene or my dating, my dating scene that I have throughout the years, we'll go into it another time, or just find me someplace and just stop me or DM me if you guys have me on Instagram or something. It's John knows, especially the last relationship that I was in, it was crazy. But we want to close, save you guys the time and save you guys some time, and also have you guys enjoy your evening, your Saturday evening, or whenever you guys are watching this.
Yeah, and just to close, like what Jimbo's saying, through each step of life, whether you're going to school, whether you're working, whether you're in your relationship or you're married, there's always two things you got to fall back on. You got to be able to love the people around you and love yourself. If there's anything that you learn from this experience, is that you got to love the people around you and love yourself, and you'll be able to make it.
Yeah, and I second that. And take our experience, even though mine was brief, his was a bit his is, well, but it's all good. We have different experiences, but it all connects to one another. Hopefully we connected to you guys at this time, and we are going to close.
Yep, so don't forget, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. See y'all next time.
Peace.